Hey guys, Majin Obama here, and this video is kind of overdue. It's kind of late, but I don't know, man. Ever since the series ended, I still kind of had this feeling where I'm really looking forward to the next season, and it kind of got me back playing a bunch of old games and stuff now, too. When X-Men 97 was first announced, I was, let's say, cautiously optimistic for a lot of reasons, and I typically am with some stuff like that just because, I don't know, the idea of just revisiting something, picking up where you left off 25, 30 years later, even with a large volume of returning voice actors, crew, etc. It's hard to really do that and maintain a specific level of like consistency and quality. That doesn't mean that they can't work. It's just important to note that distinction between what a reboot is, what a remake is, what a continuation is, and especially given the context of Marvel properties, right? Just like with the Disney ownership, everything that's changed in the past 20-something, 30 years, even just with that one property. My fears were worsened about it when we got closer and closer to takeoff for the series revival, and we're shown like new animation style, and it looks like this weird Archer. See, I'm like, man, I don't know about that. And then the day before the series drops, they're talking about the showrunner was fired for just reasons that are never, we only hear like rumors and back alleys. So it's just like, it was a couple red flags back to back that popped up. And for me, it was like hard for me to not be skeptical going into it. And then the episodes drop, and then episodes 3 and 4 drop, and I'm like, this is pretty good. And it just felt like, man, it just got me. It was good. It was really good. And I mean, I don't know if I'm talking to my ass here, but especially, MCU is kind of, it definitely peaked with Endgame, and it hasn't had necessarily the same level of quality in the past few years since then, in my opinion. But I definitely felt like by the conclusion of season 1, this series, even if I don't like some of the story arcs that they're covering, the way it's been done, the presentation, I felt like it's one of their best animated series outings in recent memory. I don't know how you guys feel. Let me know in the comments below. But to me, I was like, this is probably one of the best animated series that they put together in recent memory to me. And so, given that, in my mind, this is kind of like their top prospect now, and in my mind, it also opens up the door for conversations for them to try to do the same with other series from the past. Either way, it ends, and I was relieved and really pleasantly surprised with how it turned out. And even while I had my misgivings, it was kind of interesting, kind of funny just for me to notice that at that same time, there was a large collective of online communities that had their own misgivings for very different reasons. Now, this isn't the first time that groups online have gone ape shit, whether it's various new MCU projects, whether it's a Mario movie, a shitty Space Jam sequel, or whether Furiosa now, whatever it is. But this was the first time that it was something that I was kind of invested in from jump, and actually genuinely interested in, for me personally, like, oh man, we're gonna run it back on X-Men. Like, a lot of shit has happened in the past 30 years. How they gonna fit some of that in the show? But this was the first time that it was something that I was genuinely kind of like semi-passionate about, interested in, and then the end result turned out to be something that, frankly, made this entire period where you have these various influencers, groups, content creators are wading through any detail about the work to screech online in a socially inept fashion. Whether you want to call it woke spotting, like they got Pillar of Garbage said, or whatever, it just made that entire process look totally foolish to me. And, a lot of this is about, like, Rogue's ass. We're making it about Rogue's ass, where a couple cells, I don't know, man. Storm's hair. It's about Morph. And it kind of made me think about some things outside the show. And so for, like, one, this has been a recurring theme over the past few years, but the term woke is like done. It's, as a word, like, it has no meaning anymore. It's just another term that has been, like, so overused and abused and bastardized that it no longer has any meaning. So whenever you see, like, the anti-woke shit, it's like immediately red flag to me. I'm like, oh, like, what is this even about? And that leads me to the next idea. It's that so often you see some of these individuals where they're so used to just putting on these goggles where they see a red flag, they see a thing or a concept without even taking context into it, what the IP is actually about, the quality of it, anything like that. But the problem is, like, none of these people actually care about the IPs that they're talking about, and it becomes clear when they try to convey what they are actually upset about. We're making this about Storm's hair. Do you actually know anything about this series? That's Rogue's ass? Bro, like a couple cells from a 25-year-old, like, that's what you're clinging to? They just see that, and they go straight for the woke. I'm like, it's so tired, man. And the frustrating thing is, there's no accountability with these people either. And it's not like, you know, hey, you were wrong about this thing. You know, you made this video and you were wrong about this thing. You're gonna go to jail. It's not about that. I'm saying, like, there's never any consequences. Is too heavy of a word, but there's never any kind of like the chicken's coming home to roost. You know what I mean? A video of a person who was so against like this show for, you know, whether it be Morph's sexuality, which is like, was it even? It was like 1 or 2 lines the whole season. Like, it's barely even a thing. And even then, the appearance, all that stuff, like a lot of that by now, you guys know, it's like, that's old. That's 20-something years old content. But they see it now, and they see a platform and an opportunity to push whatever agenda or ideology that they have, and kind of fan the flames to you know, to their respective audiences. And it's like, man, the video of them after saying like, damn, I was wrong about this show, you know, go woke. Well, that's the slogan, right? It's like, go woke, go broke. Yeah, this was a really good program, actually. This is like really good. But the video of you apologizing for saying that, or like admitting you were wrong about it, it's actually not gonna attract the same level of attention from their respective audiences as the content that preceded it, writing whatever red flag they identified, you know. And by then, it's already on to the next one. By now, like, they're not even talking about this anymore, right? It's just like, on the Furiosa, blah, 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 right? And it's just, it sucks because, to me, it detracts from when there actually is tokenism or pandering that you can see and observe in media. And it creates this kind of boy cried wolf effect to where when you actually do observe that and you want to have a conversation about it, it's hard for you to even be taken seriously, because you can think of these instances where, oh, these guys went crazy because Peach was wearing pants riding a motorcycle in a Super Mario movie. Who the fuck cares, dude? Like, who actually cares? And I guess like the real sad part about it is that it reinforces an idea that I've known for a long time, but it just like, it very visibly reinforces it to me. It's just that when you look on platforms like YouTube, Twitter, etc., various social media platforms, it's cool that it allows you to build an audience and a community. It's just really unfortunate that some communities are built on the desire to be angry about something. And, you know, obviously there's monetary incentive for a lot of these individuals and channels, and I get that. But it's just, it just kind of sucks. It sucks because ultimately, you know, like some of the companies, like, they benefit from it, right? They don't really have a reason to stop it. It's just kind of shitty that it just works out the way it does, where it's like, damn, it is just posing and trying to be fake angry about shit that you don't actually care about or know about. That's the ticket? Like, that's what all this is about? I don't know. It's just kind of disappointing. But I was just really taken back by the way people would try to take out of context various like interviews and lines, like taking Stan Lee and Chris Claremont interviews, taking them out of context or cutting up like certain lines to try to paint pictures about like what X-Men were or were not. And I'm like, what is this? Like, why are y'all trying to rewrite history in 2023, 2024 to fit your worldview of what this IP that you do not care about is? I don't know. Either way, I love 97. I thought it was, I was pleasantly surprised. And I'm curious / excited to see where it goes season 2, because of the way that they did the story. Obviously, they kind of intertwined quite a few story arcs. And even though me and X-Men comic stories is kind of rough, like there's a lot of arcs that I just like don't like, because I feel like they betray some of the characters in some ways. But I'm curious to see where it goes from here, and I really want to see how they execute it. But with that said, what about you guys at home? Did you guys enjoy watching it? Did you have any favorite moments, or is there something that you'd like to see coming up in it? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll holler at you guys later. Be easy.